Last week, I spoke about Dr. Seuss's book, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, as a parable for what's happening today. Just as the Grinch tried to steal Christmas from the Who's down in Whoville, we know that COVID the Grinch is trying to steal our Christmas today as well. But we learned last week from the Who's a great way to reject COVID the Grinch from stealing our Christmas. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. So singing was the key thing we learned last week. And the Grinch, the real game changer in his perspective, was that he thought that the Who's down in Whoville had a contingent joy. He thought their joy was just based upon ribbons, tags, packages, boxes, or bags. So when he took all of that away, and he still heard them singing on Christmas morning, it was a total game changer in his perspective. And he realized something. And so, story time with Father Richard. Okay. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. So the Grinch, he discovered from the Who's down in Whoville that their joy was not contingent. It was not based upon ribbons, tags, packages, boxes, or bags, but rather the Who's had what we would say is an indestructible joy. It was truly a joy that was indestructible. Nothing and no one could take away the joy that they had. And it was based upon a little bit more. And that gave them the reason to sing. Now, Dr. Seuss, in presenting the indestructible joy of the Who's singing on Christmas morning, with having everything taken away from them, that should trigger us. That should actually challenge us. It should make us ask ourselves, do I have this indestructible joy? If I had everything taken away from me, would I still be joyful on Christmas morning? Could I see myself in Whoville singing? Or am I living on top of Mount Crumpet with the Grinch? Is that where I am? Am I just peering down upon the world with this hypercriticism, angry at what's happening, pointing fingers? So where am I living right now? And where am I going to be on Christmas morning? In Whoville or on Mount Crumpet? And this is a question I have to ask myself as well. Trust me, when Friday's announcement came out from Dr. Bonnie Henry, I wanted to get up on top of Mount Crumpet. I had just planned a retreat for the core team of our youth ministry in January, and so I really wanted to go up on top of Mount Crumpet. So it's a question we all must ask. But thanks be to God, the Grinch, he proves that it's actually possible to leave Mount Crumpet and get down in Whoville on Christmas morning. And it all consists, as the Grinch shows us, in discovering that little bit more. So what is that little bit more? Well, Dr. Seuss doesn't tell us. And from my perspective, thanks be to God, because a clear religious ending to the wacky world of Dr. Seuss would be pretty strange. So he actually gives us the opportunity to complete the story and to explain the true meaning of Christmas. So today I want to give you an opportunity to at least look at the true meaning of Christmas through a painting. So for myself, when I read today's gospel, and why has this happened to me, that the mother of my Lord comes to me, I immediately thought of this painting, which was given to me on the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe. This painting is a true sign of indestructible joy of Christmas. If you want to understand the story of Our Lady of Guadalupe, you got to read it, because I can't give a whole homily about the story. The painting is a sign of indestructible joy, first because it's actually indestructible. As some of you know, this painting miraculously appeared on the poncho of Juan Diego. Think of like this thing that I'm wearing. Juan Diego had a poor man's tilma, which was made out of cactus fiber. And the cactus fiber is really poor material, and it disintegrates within 30 years. But the actual tilma that Juan Diego wore, where this image miraculously appeared on it, has maintained in perfect condition for 490 years. And NASA did all these tests, and they have absolutely no explanation for how this is possible. And there was someone actually in 1921 who was so sick of hearing about the indestructibility of the tilma that he put 29 sticks of dynamite in a flower arrangement underneath the tilma. And when the dynamite went off, it destroyed literally everything in the whole church except the tilma. It was still in perfect condition. So it's truly indestructible. That's something just to realize. And the second, it's a sign of indestructible joy because it tells us the Christmas story in a beautiful way. First, it's the only Marian apparition in which Mary appears pregnant. The first sign of that is the black maternity sash underneath her hands, which was a local symbol of the time that this woman is about to give birth at any moment. And there was a gynecologist, believe it or not, who put a stethoscope up to the womb of the actual tilma in Mexico, and he heard rhythmic repeating heartbeats at 115 beats per minute, which for a gynecologist is a sign that this baby is about to be born. This is an image that is actually alive. And when they did infrared studies on the tilma, it actually maintains the perfect body temperature of a human, regardless of what climate it's in. So once again, it's a sign of the indestructible joy of Christmas. If you look at the tilma, Mary's wearing this mantle, and on the mantle there are 46 stars. Now, the actual arrangement of the stars is the perfect display of the various constellations exactly on that day, December 12th, 1531, but from outside of the universe looking down upon Guadalupe in Mexico, as if God was looking down upon what was happening, and he printed those stars on the very mantle of Our Lady. And each one of the stars gives a beautiful symbol of something very important. I just want to point out two for you today. Right beside Mary's head is the constellation Draco, which means dragon. It's a symbol of how the dragon is going to go at war with Mary, as we see in Genesis chapter 3 and Revelation 12. The battle that's about to take place in which the dragon, the symbol of the devil, does not want the child to be born because he's going to be defeated. But as we know, the Christmas story, the constellation that appears above Mary's womb is actually the constellation Leo, which is Latin for lion, because the lion of the tribe of Judah will be born, and he will conquer the dragon. So it's a beautiful, even in the stars, a beautiful sign of the indestructible joy of what's about to happen on Christmas morning. And finally, just some words from Our Lady that are truly words of indestructible joy. I'm not sure if you've ever thought about it, but in today's gospel, the very words of Mary fill Elizabeth with joy. That says something about Mary. She is so full of grace that the very words spoken to her to another person fill that person with joy. And there was a time when Juan Diego was really worried, and he avoided Mary because his uncle was sick, and he wanted to take care of his uncle rather than spend time with Mary, believe it or not. But Mary met Juan Diego on the way and spoke some words to him that were very powerful. And I invite all of you as well to hear these words from Our Lady being spoken to you. So, just as Juan Diego was very worried and stressed about his uncle's health, there are many people here who have similar feelings about health. Many people here are worried and stressed and anxious about so many things related to health. And so I invite you to hear these words being spoken to you from Our Lady today. This is what Our Lady says to Juan Diego, and she says it to you as well this morning. Let not your heart be disturbed. Do not fear that sickness, nor any other sickness or anguish. Am I not here, I who am your mother? Are you not under my protection? Am I not your health? Are you not happily within my fold? What else do you wish? Do not grieve, nor be disturbed by anything. These are beautiful, beautiful words from Our Lady, truly words of indestructible joy if you receive them with a good heart. And I printed these out on holy cards. If you want one, I have hundreds in the back on your way out. You're welcome to grab this and pray with these words this week. So if you want to leave Mount Crumpet this week, if you want to join the Who's down in Whoville, share in the indestructible joy of the true Christmas story, we have a mother who actually wants to lead the way for each one of her children today.